Welcome to Evolving Women, where we talk real invention, purpose in midlife, and what it means to rise into who you were always meant to be. I'm Teresa Lysam, and today's conversation is one more reminder. It's never too late to rewrite your story. Hi, everyone. Welcome to this episode of Evolving Women. I'm Teresa Lysam, and I have the supreme honor of chatting with Deborah Ann Baker here today. So welcome, Deborah. Deborah is a PhD, best-selling author, award-winning artist, and a retreat facilitator. Woo, that's a lot. So welcome, Deborah. Can't
Thank
wait
you,
to hear about
Teresa.
all that.
Yeah.
I would love to get us started with purple trees. This whole concept of purple trees. I know that sets you on a path and a journey to bring you all to an artist, a book, an author, a facilitator for retreats. And can you kind of tell us what happened and why that has brought you to this point in your life?
Oh, absolutely. It can get a little juicy.
That's what we love.
All right. But when I was 6 years old, I was in a classroom and we were told to draw trees. And that was the only instruction that we had. And I looked at my crayons and I kind of looked around and everybody was grabbing their green and brown and crayons.
Mm-hmm.
And I just had this inspiration and I picked up a purple crayon. So I drew a purple tree. And to me, oh my God, it was so gorgeous. The teacher came around the room and was holding up the artwork from each individual and making comments. And when
Mm-hmm.
she got to me, can you imagine when you were 6 years old and sitting in those little tiny desks? And then the teacher
Mm-hmm.
standing up looked
Yeah.
like she was like 8 feet tall.
Yes.
Well, she picked up mine and she showed it to the class and she put it down on my desk and said, Deborah, there is no such thing as purple
Mm,
tree. I
mm,
melted, my heart
mm, mm.
sunk. I felt horrible. I just wanted to slink under that
Yeah,
tiny
yeah.
desk and be like a snake and go out the door and
Mm.
never be seen again. And I didn't know what I did wrong.
Oh.
I didn't know why all the class members started laughing and pointing. And you know how
Mm.
kids are.
Mm-hmm.
They don't know
Oh,
what they were
well.
doing. But anyway, so with that experience, and since a 6 year old doesn't know words to
Mhm.
attach
Yeah.
to what the inner feeling is, they only know the feeling. And what I decided at that moment was, I don't ever want to feel that again. And on the way home, I remembered I took that drawing and I folded it. And then I folded again and I folded again. I folded that drawing as tight as I possibly could.
Mhm.
And I put it in my pocket along with the purple crayon because that was never, ever going to happen again. And as I was walking home, I stepped over a puddle and my hand hit the pocket and I put my hand in the pocket and I was feeling that crayon and I just felt so awful and
Mm.
so upset I broke the crayon.
Oh, man.
So that was the beginning of my the rest of my life decades, for decades. What I then begin to kind of visualize for myself is that I had to stay within the lines.
Mm-hmm.
Had to do exactly what I was told.
Yep.
I couldn't be creative because evidently that's wrong. And I wanted to be loved. I wanted to be accepted. And somewhere along the line, I carried throughout my life two things that stood out the most for me was perfectionism, because everything had to be right and given what society expects of me, that kind of thing. But inside there was also this something I couldn't really identify. But later on, I identified as the shame that went along with the humiliation in that classroom. And those are two masks
Mm-hmm.
that I began to wear.
Yep.
And so it showed up as I got older and older. I got my PhD to prove I wasn't stupid.
Mm-hmm.
I went into counseling. I worked with folks, cancer patients and their families, and we would use art and drawing as part of their healing process. I didn't do that for myself. Didn't want to do anything that was creative because I had to be perfect
Yeah.
and create. And for me to be creative, that wasn't acceptable.
Oh, man.
And so what happened later on in my life, of course, getting married and having a child, going through everything I was supposed to do. And then one day I wasn't feeling so good, so I went to the doctor. And I remember sitting in the doctor's office and he came in and he says, "Okay, Deborah, I got some news." I said, "Okay." It looks like you have cancer and we'll be able to uh, have surgery and take care of it. I remember just sitting there numb and he was talking and I couldn't even
Mm.
understand what he was saying or anything. After I got home, I had to read the notes of his summary to even find out what was going on. So anyway, I went through the surgery. And in the healing process, which was a little while for me because I call it filleted. That's what it felt like. And in the healing process, while I'm laying in bed and, I trying to figure out what's going on, where did I go wrong? I did everything right in my life. I did what people expected. I was Little Miss Perfect. I had awards. Even in junior high, one year I walked off with 5 of 7 medals because I had gotten straight A's in school. And as I walked off the stage, the medals are clinking, and folks, your parents and your students are in the audience and they're all clapping.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm saying, why don't I feel it?
Wow.
Why don't I feel it? It's an accomplishment. You know, be I should be feeling it, and I didn't. And that was what kept coming up in my life. If I'm doing everything right, why don't I feel it?
Wow.
And so through the healing process, one morning I was there questioning myself and I just got quiet and I said, "Okay, I give up. I give up." And I heard this voice, this soft voice. It said, "Go paint." Oh my gosh, I got the chills. And I'm saying, I can barely move. And you want me to get out of bed, get dressed, and go downstairs and pull things out to paint.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I decided nothing else was working, so I'd follow the voice. I did go downstairs and pull out the paints and the canvas. And all of a sudden, I dipped the brush in black and I made marks on the canvas and red, crimson red. Next thing, a blue kind of splattered, but wasn't very obvious. And I stood back and I looked at it and I said, this is a mess. And then the voice said, it's you.
Mm.
It's you. And I said, okay. Now I realize, yeah, that's true. So where do I go from here? And the voice said, just paint. So then every day I was painting while I was recovering. And at that point, I had never had any formal training as far as painting or being an artist or anything like that. But what was coming out of me was pure emotion, pure connection to my soul, to my divine self that I gave away at 6 years old, that I folded up and I put away and didn't allow to come out and play anymore.
Mm.
And as I was doing this, then other folks around me said, hey, can you show me how to do that? And I said, I don't know if I could show you anything. I said, but I could help facilitate and let's see what happens. And so I started working with small groups of women and doing this process. And they said, well, you got to have a name for this, What is it? And so when I went inside and I said, what do we call this? And they said, abstract intuitive impressionism.
Mm.
I said, okay, that resonates, gives me chills, that's that's great. Okay, so now I have a name. So more and more folks wanted to do this process. And as we were doing it, not only were we just painting, we would start with marks on the canvas and then add color, whatever anyone was feeling. And then we take a break and step back and then look at the art. And I use a question. I say, what do you want to be when you grow up? Kind of thing. Show me what you want to
Mm.
be.
Mm.
And then
Mm.
I would go back and then the other folks would go back and sometimes they would see images and I say, oh, this looks like my pet, or oh,
No.
look, this looks like a bird, or look at this beautiful flower. And I said, okay, so now paint it. And then we would tell stories with the painting. So tell me the story. What happened with you? What did it feel like? Oh, tell me about your pet.
Mm.
Tell me about that flower. And sometimes the flower would represent something around the age of 6 that there was another person that was from the South that said, who painted what looked like the evening jasmine that's in the South.
Mm.
And she said, I had this plant under my window. And at night is the only time it exudes its perfume.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And she said that was kind of like my space where I could just feel like I was safe and I could be myself. And so I'd hear stories like that all the time. And these folks told me, you can't just keep this small. You have to let other people know about this. And so I created the Revelare retreat. Now, Revelare is the Latin word for the great reveal. And in this retreat, that's exactly what we do. It's a resurrection, it's a revelation, it's a reclamation. And we use journaling, we use art, we use stories, we have sacred circles around a fire in the evening to talk about what the experience is. and we play a lot. That's a very important
Mhm.
aspect of it all. And so, talking about those masks, though, and what is it in your life, if you would go back to when you were around the age 6, or it could have been later on when somebody criticized something that really felt it came from the heart? It doesn't matter if it's art or if it's a meal
Yeah.
or you created a new fashion design, whatever it happened to be, and how did it affect your life? Quantum physics now is kind of catching up with what we know intuitively, and that we are a biofield or biophoton field
Mhm.
that is created by our thoughts, by our emotions, by our beliefs, by our religion, by our culture. It creates this frequency. And this, what we call ourselves, and our frequency interacts with a larger quantum field of energy where anything is possible. So if you think about that for a moment, what is it you're creating in your own, I'll say, biofield with your own thoughts and words and actions and beliefs down the line? What masks have you attached to yourself that over a period, like for me, decades, those masks became real? That's what I thought I
Mhm.
was
Mhm. Yeah.
until I had the breakdown and and said, you can't keep going on living your life like this. This is not who you truly are. And you kind of got a hint of it. So let's get with the program here. So, in this whole process, if you are a perfectionist, if you do carry shame, if you do, uh, there's 16 different kinds of masks, which uh,
Oh.
that I wrote in the book. Anyway, so if you are vibrating, just think about it, you're vibrating at this particular biofield, right? And here's the big quantum field that is infinite possibilities,
Mhm.
but it can't give you what you want. It can only give you what you're attuned to.
Yeah.
So every time you want to start a new job, get a career, make more money, find a mate, be creative, you need to change that biofield or you will create the situation with that same frequency.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah.
And so that's what part of the process is that we go through with the Revelare retreat. Now, folks come in and they think they're going to a retreat to relax.
Little do they know, huh?
So they come in, come into the spotlight arena that is sacred, it's safe, it's
Mhm.
protected.
Mhm.
And then we start to explore and we see what mask and we paint the mask where we are.
Mhm.
And we journal and we go through the process. And by the end, there is the embodiment to the connection of that 6-year-old again, or connection to your soul. And your soul then becomes the connection to divine intelligence. I call it divine intelligence. You can
Mhm.
call it God, you can call
Yeah.
it whatever you want to, divine intelligence. And once you're solid in that connection, your whole life changes. And what happens? Um, Quantum physics explains this in a way that with the wave and the particle, it says all this infinite quantum possibility is a wave.
Mhm.
And once you, as the observer, visualize or intend or decide what you want, When this wave comes into view, it collapses into a particle. And when it collapses in the particle, that's the experience. And so as long as you're stuck with the mask, you're oscillating and you that wave collapses and you'll get what you want, but you'll get a little once you realize and you connect, and what happens is that mask, instead of being the particle, the mask then becomes the wave.
And that mask is blocking your view of
Exactly.
that. Yeah.
Exactly. So in physics, it's called the quantum collapse.
Mm.
And it can happen. This is the joy of it. It can happen with the realization at that moment, at that moment. And within the retreat environment, you have permission to be.
Mm.
You have to be it. So you have time to anchor it.
Mm.
And so that when you go back into your world's going to change. People
Mm.
are going to say, hey, what did you do? You look 10 years younger. Are they going to say, hey, you're not talking the same way. What's going on? You know,
Mm.
or you're changing.
Mm. Yay.
And you just say, yes, I accept that.
For sure. Oh my gosh, I love everything you've talked about. So many paths to follow, so many breadcrumbs to follow here today. I want to apologize that you had that experience as a young child. I was a teacher for a very long time in my career, and witnessed that, in my environment where I was teaching. I experienced that. I had family members that experienced just an offhanded comment that person who made the comment just went on with their life and didn't think anything beyond it. But
Right.
at that moment in time, it affected you, it affected my daughter, it affected me, whoever is on the receiving end of that, in a way that it changes the belief about yourself, or it changes your own self-perception, and it's just like it sticks with you. And like what happened to you, it changed the trajectory of your life, the way your path, your life played out for you. And it saddens me that we don't think about the impact of our words on other people. I mean, yes, I know we all have off days and we say things that, are not kind and loving. But when you think about it, what you just said, how it played out for you, how it plays out for other people, it can be very, very impactful. So I really do believe that our words are so powerful. We need to really use them with intention and thought behind them because of everything you
Exactly.
just talked about. I mean, that teacher inadvertently caused you to feel shame. But then we can also talk about, oh, your power was kind of taken away from you by her. So that's a whole nother, conversation to talk about how we give our power away to others. And as a child, that's just what happens because you don't know better, but
Right. And that's the reason I wrote the book, because it's the kind of book that I wish I would have had when I was 20 or 30 or 40. So I could have these realizations earlier.
yeah, yeah,
And we
yeah.
talk about the purple tree, and as you say, I appreciate that you felt an apology, like, to the world for everybody who's ever done something like that. Well, the purple tree was my saving grace.
Mhm.
So having the experience always looks awful, and then you have these experiences that are not quite so good. But then once you realize it's the key.
Yes,
It is the key that
yes.
opens the door to who you truly are. Now, we're not broken. No one is broken. No one needs to be fixed. We
Correct.
only need to remember who we are.
Yes.
And the whole, I don't know if you can see this or not,
Mhm.
but
Yeah.
the
Yes, we can.
symbolism of the book is the purple tree with the key, the
Oh,
gold.
yes. Oh, that is so cool.
So it was my golden tree, and that's, I mean, my golden key to unlocking my creativity, my connection to my soul, to divine feminine and to divine intelligence. And oh gosh, my I'm on a mission.
Oh, I can tell. And I
I'm
can tell
on a
with you
mission.
got your purple on today. I'm guessing you wear a lot of purple.
I do now, and I never did before, but I do now. I just love it. I'm on a mission, and what I want, my mission is to help facilitate women that are ready to move into that space, to understand and to connect back to their soul, back to divine
Mhm.
feminine, and to bring forth their love, their joy, their wisdom back into the world.
Yeah.
And I kind of see it like a little pyramid grid with all these golden pyramids all over the grid. And the shining star at the top is that connection. And
Mm.
when that light goes on and all the pyramids light up, gosh, what kind of world would that
Oh,
be?
I know. And I applaud your mission. I love your mission. And this is the time. I really do believe that there's so many of us, women in particular, but there's some men too, that
Oh,
we're
yes.
here to light up this world with that feminine, heart-centered energy, so that leading the way so that other women, other people can step into their own power and share their divinely given gifts to the world. And so I really think we're all coming together, offering our own version of it, our own way of stepping into ourselves, our authentic selves.
Right.
And we're just all part of the puzzle. We're just all part of the mission as a whole, the universal mission, I think, that we do it in our
Exactly.
own way.
Exactly. That's like all the pyramids. Everybody,
Yes.
you have your own way, but once it lights up, then yes.
And all of our lights are igniting other lights. So we have this big web of lights that, oh yeah, the world is just being transformed. I have no
Right.
doubt in my mind. Your retreats sound amazing. Like I want to come to one. I
Love to
love,
have you.
I love that you're inviting women to be playful. I mean, we as adults, we don't play enough. I mean, I play, I'm very playful, but I don't do it as much as I probably could, and I love being around children. I love their spirit and their frequency and their energy. And sometimes as adults we get to like adulthood like, oh, we got to be adulty like, and we have to keep up that mask, play that role, and we really don't. There's no reason we can't let that mask or those masks drop or open up a little bit and be playful. Allow that inner 5-year-old to come out and play because we're so much better afterward.
Think about if you woke up in the morning, and I told this to a friend, and we had a conversation earlier that you don't drink coffee, but I actually got up and I said, you know what? I danced to the coffee pot this morning.
Ooh, love that.
Like, when's the last time you danced to the coffee pot, Or I was in a shopping mall with my son and his fiance, and we were walking along, and then this music comes on, and then I just like
Yeah,
started kind of like
yes.
bouncing around, and I grabbed his hand and I twirled, and his girlfriend was, like we're in public.
I have that same reaction from my kids. Like I'll be singing or dancing and they're just like, Mom, sorry, that's just something in me that's got to start moving.
But it's okay. I mean, look at children when they have a conversation. Do you ever see them? Yes, well, today I went to school and I learned about that 3 times 3 is 9. Do they ever do that? No,
Right.
they're expressive. And boy, I went to school and you know what? I saw 3 frogs on the way. And they were just hopping all along.
Yeah, everything is exciting and new to them. And we really, as adults, need to come to the world, come to every day like that. Like, ooh, what can I see new today? What's
Yeah.
different is going to happen? And then you're going to start to see different things in your world. But yeah, allowing ourselves to be playful and childlike, I think is really important. So I'm right on the same page with you there.
And give yourself permission because you're the only one who can
Thank
give
you.
yourself permission
Yes, you're
and just say
exactly right.
yes. What's
Yeah.
it like to say yes at any one
Yes.
moment? Because you don't know what's behind the yes.
And I love that you said yes when so you were healing yourself. You were healing your art, excuse me, yourself with your artwork because you listened and said yes to that voice. And then you
Didn't
listened and
what?
said, you said yes to the people that wanted you to teach them or work with them and help them heal themselves as well. And you just said yes. Like you didn't know what was going to happen. You just stepped into the yes with the unknown in front of you. So I applaud you for that. And I mean, I've done that, but sometimes I do that with some hesitation or some trepidation. But good
That's
things
when
always
you
seem
know
to
you have
happen.
to do it.
Yeah. Good things always seem to come out of it, even though there's some fear there. We have to step through that fear and then things open up on the other side. I mean, that has happened many, many times to me. Not that I don't allow that fear to take over sometimes, but we just have to remember that it's all good stuff. Things are happening for us to improve our lives and to make our lives
Yeah.
more beautiful and enhance life enhancing, not something that's going to, you know, really be something not very good for us. I think I kind of stumbled over that a little bit, but
That's
you know what I mean.
the definition of what people call a hero, because a hero doesn't do anything for them for any, it's not coming from the self, but they can feel the fear. It's okay to feel fear
Yes, yes,
and then move forward anyway.
yes, for sure. You
You know,
just make
we've been
friends with your
taught,
fear.
yeah, right, because we've been taught
Hmm.
a fear. We've been taught by society and religion and culture so much about shame and fear
Hmm.
that we don't want to feel that, so we go over here.
Yes, yes. Or we put on
It's
those
okay to feel
masks.
it. It's okay to feel it, and then just say, you know what? I'm going to do it anyway. I'm going to say yes.
Yeah, I love that. Or again, we hide behind those masks. And it kind of cracks me up and makes me giggle when you think about the absurdity of it. We all walk around life with these masks on. All of us do. Some of us have more than others. Some of them are more solid than others, but we all are doing it and we all know that we're all doing it, but we still don't drop the masks. Like, why is that? It's just
Because
absurd. It's absolutely
it's
absurd.
it's a false feeling of safety. It's protection.
Yeah. Oh, that just cracks me up. Like us humans, we can be so silly, even
I,
without
I even
intending to
I
be.
even thought, what would it be like if we had some kind of mask made out of something that doesn't, not like glass that would cause accidents or anything, but have do a mask. And this might be something that the listeners might want to do. Make a mask. make a mask and name it. And then if it's hard enough, take a hammer to it.
Mm,
Or if it's like paper mache or something, just tear it up and burn it, dissolve the mask
yeah, I love
and know
that.
that it's okay. I mean,
Meta, yeah,
because during the
metaphorically and
yeah,
literally and metaphorically. Yes. I
right,
love that.
right.
That's a great something for your retreats. Is that what you do at your retreats?
Well, we
This,
actually write it out and then we have a ritual and we burn it in the fire.
yeah, and
Circle
that's
in a sacred circle.
yes, I've done that in the past, and that's it sounds like a very simple thing to do, but it could be very powerful, very cathartic for sure.
It's the
Um,
re it's you're saying it's okay for me to release this.
yes,
And
yes.
maybe I don't know where I'm going next, but I'm going.
Love that. Step into the unknown and the uncertainty. And I love that you said we give ourselves permission. We have to decide and give ourselves permission because nobody else is going to do it.
No, they want to hold you where
Yes,
you are because
exactly.
if you change, you might not be there for them.
Right. And then that will cause them to question their ability or need or desire to change. So, yeah, I think the whole, what it comes down to is what we're talking about today is say yes. Don't be afraid to be non-conforming. I mean, who sets these rules that we adhere to without even thinking about it? But who decided? If we see ourselves as sovereign beings, then we make our own choices, irregardless of what society is dictating.
Mhm.
But I mean, it sounds easy. It's easy to say, but to do it in reality, especially depending on our conditioning and what our beliefs are about ourselves, it can be a little bit tricky. But I think once you start down that path, there's like no going back.
Now think about it. If you're an artist in the audience, think about it. So the idea that artists have to be poor, who made up that
Mhm.
rule?
Right,
Made up that rule.
right.
You know, think about it. Oh, there's too much competition out there. Who
Hmm.
am I? Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
If you think about it, that if you're painting from your soul, you are creating something authentic. And when folks look at it, they're going to feel it. They're going to feel it. They're going to see the colors in some kind of way, say, I love that color story. Or they're going to say, oh, this painting speaks to me. Or, I got to take this home. And when you paint this way, when you put that first in your painting, there is no competition because nobody can do it like you do.
Right, right. And if they
You know,
don't like it, that's okay. We all get to have our own
because somebody
opinion.
else will.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Like I said, it's very easy to say that, but to actually feel that and be okay with that, it's a little bit trickier, but it could still be done. But
But when you think about the science behind it, though, and think when you change your mind, you have that kind of an attitude, you are going to attract those kind of people.
Yeah.
You're not going to attract those that go, oh, you know what? My third grader could do that. I had that told to me one time. And I said, oh my goodness, is she here? Because I want to talk to her.
I
I
love
want to know how she's doing
it.
it, you
Love
know?
it.
And then it just disarmed that person. They just walked away.
Love it. Love
But if your 3-year-old can do this, encourage them
it. And encourage them to color their trees any way, shape, or form or
anyway,
color that they want. I mean,
because there
that's
are purple trees.
yes, there are purple trees. Oh my gosh, I love this. Oh my gosh, Deborah, thank you so much. What is there any one last thing, words of wisdom you want to share before we wrap this up?
Just say yes.
Mm,
Just say yes.
mhm.
And would like to offer your audience a gift.
Ooh,
I
cool.
have I have a couple of freebies, and I could probably send you the link.
Yeah, yeah, please do. We can add it to the description here. Yeah.
Okay. And so one of them is called Throwdown Paint, and it takes you through it takes you through an exercise. It asks a question, and then you paint and see what comes up. And
Mm,
I actually, that's part of what we do in the retreat. So it's a little taste.
love it. Throw down some paint.
Yeah. Well,
And
Teresa, I want to thank you so much for having me today. I've had so much fun. And thank you. I've been looking at your podcast. Thank you for doing the work that you're doing.
oh, thank you.
You
It is
know, you're
my
making a difference.
privilege. It's my privilege to have these conversations and to allow the rest of the world to see who are these wonderful women that are out there doing the work and sharing their gifts. We will include your contact information in the show notes in the description. So if you want to get a hold of Deborah Ann, you can certainly connect with her. Just look for her information. Go throw down some paint. So grab her, throw down some paint. Love that. And yeah, just say yes. What a great words of wisdom to go out on. So thank you so much, Deborah. Appreciate you. Love what you're doing in the world. And we will see everybody in the next episode. If you feel that this is information that is helpful for somebody else in your life, please share this. Please subscribe. Please like. We'd love to hear comments. And we will see you in the next episode. Bye bye. Thank you, Deborah. Bye, everybody.